Our next and final speaker is Duke Phillips. Duke is a fourth-generation rancher who grew up in Colorado. He graduated from the University of Denver with a degree in English. After finishing school, Duke traveled to Australia to work on some large-scale cattle properties, mostly in northern Queensland. At Ranchlands, Duke is a general manager overseeing all of the agricultural aspects of the business. He also manages all of the hunting on properties. Some of his passions are aviation, ranching, shooting, and fishing. And may I say, by far, has the best beard in this room. Duke.
I feel a little out of place being from Colorado. But my dad's whole side of the family is from Texas, so I'm just one generation removed. Ranchland started in 1999 when my family put in for, or responded to an RFP with the Colorado State Land Board. Is for a 25-year lease on a piece of state property. It's state trust land, so it's owned by the state land board. It's not public land. All the proceeds from the lease and any other business goes to the public school system in Colorado. So we won that lease in '99, and that was kind of our jumping off point. Ranchlands was born. Ranchlands is difficult to explain. I guess we're fairly diversified. We started Ranchlands. We started with about 20 to 30 head mother cows, registered beefmaster cattle. And it was great until we got there, and then we got the keys to a 90,000 acre ranch with 25 head with several $100,000 in lease payments that we had to make. So there really wasn't anything off the table that we would try. We brought on third-party cattle, was the main thing to cover the lease. And by running those cattle, we were able to grow our herd because we weren't paying a lease on our cattle. We started a small guest operation. There's 3 rooms on the place that we rent out, and it's not a dude ranch per se. We get a lot of people that are interested in ranching, in conservation, and all of these things that we're trying to do on ranch land. So at first it seemed like it was going to be a burden, these people coming in from the outside, always in the way and asking stupid questions and making the same mistakes. But it's actually really turned out to be something pretty magical. You get these people from all walks of life, from all over the world, who are coming just to learn about ranching. The American West, the cowboy, has kind of this romantic appeal to it. So that's one part of us. We're diversified into guest services. In 2004, we answered another RFP that the Nature Conservancy put out on just over 100,000 acre bison property in the San Luis Valley, southern Colorado. That also had a 15-bedroom lodge on it, and our experience in the hospitality industry was minute compared to 15 bedrooms, and we've never done anything with bison. But again, we were awarded that lease, and all of a sudden we were bison ranchers and more guest ranchers. So it's just kind of been this snowballing effect. Since the beginning, we've invited artists to come out to the ranch, to brandings, to cattle moves. It's very iconic. We still gather all our cattle out in a redeer. We don't bring them into a corral to brand. Head and heel calves on a wood fire for branding. So it is kind of this very iconic image, and the artists ate it up. So every year we'd invite them out 2 weeks, take photos, paint out in the field, whatever their mediums were, and then in the fall we'd host an art show with the idea of making money, and we've been doing it for 18 years and have never made any money. but we have made some really good connections through it, people who are interested in our story, and it's led to other opportunities, other leased land. We're leasing a property in New Mexico right now, and that woman we met at one of our art shows. So it doesn't return cash annually, but it leads to some pretty phenomenal opportunities for us. Ranchlands is myself. I'm operations. My father is kind of big picture and moving out of operations, and my sister who is behind the scenes doing all the hard work. We run an internship and apprenticeship program where, I guess, taking a step backwards, agriculture, ranching specifically, is very hard to break into if you're not from ranching. And I've seen that. I went to school in this city, and I know the perspective that people have on ranching, and it is a very closed world. We see it from our neighbors, we see it from everyone, and that's the nature of it. So this is kind of our attempt to expand our family, essentially, invite people that aren't from ranching. Maybe they don't even want to do ranching as a career, but they have an interest in it, and cultivate that interest and see if it turns into something or not. We start with an internship that's 3 to 6 month minimum, where people come and they're not just given the kind of the fruitless labor of building fences and sweeping shops and things like that, but they're actually brought into the fold, and when we do our grazing planning, all of our ranches are run on rotational grazing, prescriptive grazing. They're brought in and everything explained. This is why we do this. This is why it's important. This is how we used to do it, and this is what we learned from doing that. And then they'll go out and ride and learn the mechanics of moving a herd of 1,000 head of cattle, or why we have to fix fence, why it's important to do this. And then the apprenticeship is just a step up from that. We're diverse enough, it's hard to find people that want to do guest services, bison, cattle, art, all this other things. So we've started kind of cultivating our own young people, and our model is to bring these people in and grow them essentially into managers that we will either place working for us on a property, or eventually moving on back to their family property or to another kind of deal. So, and then we also see 2,000 to 3,000 school-age kids come through the ranch every year, where we host a bird banding station. We do a corral tour, just show them that we're not a bunch of cowboys shooting guns in the air. And then prairie ecology. So we have a full-time educator on our main property as well. So I don't know. It seems like I'm missing a lot of stuff we do, hunting and farming, and we do some bison direct sales. Everything we do is all natural. We're not certified organic, but essentially we are without paying for the title. Yeah, I think that's kind of about it. I'm starting to ramble.